Yeah, what is good, everybody? What is good, yo? Jojo's Strange Adventure. I'm surprised it's not strange and it's bizarre. Bizarre is an interesting word, but Jojo's a bizarre adventure. I by far think that this is one of the weirdest ends of their episodes. Um, if you want to go to somebody who truly knows a weird ending. Uh, I can't wait to see my boy Shy Lion's reaction because this is stuff he's been begging for since like Goldenwind and probably even Diamonds Unbreakable and stuff like that. But this man stays praying, stays praying for the hope that they show everything. Whenever the action gets good, they keep it rolling and stuff like that. That is exactly what happens this week. Non-stop action. Um, Including since there was action, there was nonstop posing. So there was a lot of posing this week. Um, but overall, man, this action this week was pretty phenomenal. I didn't think that with what we were going to get, that people were just going to straight up like go through a full-on fight nonstop. That was actually a shocker to me, and I think that's where the shocker comes to one of my homies who've been watching this show, since the real like grind came out when you had to watch every single JoJo episode when they're being announced. That's pretty rough, man. Um, because of how they stop and stuff like that. So to see the action completely play out and just be epic as we expect it to be, my God, my God, let's talk about it. So we pretty much start out with Misa um, in the same position of about to quote unquote shoot the truck driver, but him being as smart as he is, he straight up doesn't shoot the guy. Ends up looking at the guy's leg before he makes that choice and pretty much knows that's not his target, which I didn't even think that, some shows don't even allow that much time for thinking. They're just like, "Oh, I had to act in the action," and that's usually how people react. Usually, they wouldn't have looked at his leg because that would have gave the guy and the driver enough time to react. And it pretty much does sum up what happened in that situation because as soon as he looks and he pays attention to that area, he starts to get lost. In the sense of he's already lost his chances of like making a hardcore move because this man who he's following, his stand, has already captured him just by him looking at the driver and actually hesitating before shooting, instead of shooting. And even then I think he would have still been at a loss because it's never really specified when he actually gets to put the guy into this in the spot of where the stand can sew your hand or sew like put you can like pretty much craft your hand and whatever body part you're touching to an object. So it can make it pretty much like it's an extension of yourself, which I thought was pretty cool. But it's also not that powerful. And on top of that, his power didn't even come from like the punching and stuff. So I really do respect every single character that comes out and they don't just like punch a lot after they've done something like cool, because that's kind of their go-to end all be all. Like, oh, he's about to watch out, he's about to start punching. Like every single fight. And I mean I know I know anime with throwing punches. I love Dragon Ball Z, so it's the only real reason why the punching has no like actual effect on me. I enjoy it, but at the same time it's like every stand pretty much punches. Besides these couple of fews that have been coming out lately, in the sense of Diamond's Unbreakable kind of followed the trend with their main characters doing the punching, but every single villain had like some really unique stuff that they could do. And I think they understood that, or at least the author understood that with all the unique stuff he was doing, it was probably a lot more fun and a little bit harder for the audience to be in a at free, because I didn't feel free at all this episode. I feel like this guy could have been hiding something. He could have done something crazy. But then when he was stopping bullets with his own stand, like inside of his body, I was like, okay, okay, that's got to be his final ability. Like you can't just also when he dodged certain bullets, right? So like certain bullets didn't hit him, but he can make those bullets levitate in the air and use them as stepping stones, which I thought was also so clever. That's why the show will always have my praise, is because not only does it live up to the title of being freaking bizarre as hell, it also just shows you that whatever they're putting forward as like an over oh no, he's eating, oh no, I'm dead. um they're overall just telling you like, hey, we know our show is strange, and that's the whole point. We want you to see the most strangest things in this show that will make you say like, what? And as soon as they get you there, that's when you start losing in the sense of all the time you're going to be putting into thinking about all these crazy weird pose loving characters. Okay. um, Very, very powerful stuff with this episode, just telling us that. And I called it too. I said in my last title, is this guy the best of the best killers on the team? Like Geo was teaming up with the best of the best killing, one that could like end someone as easy as possible, compared to someone like the guy with the justice, who was capable of solving the case even when there was no real evidence of anything happening, including with a stand that can, pretty much disappear and reappear on the host's command. So, there was nothing really to be found, and he still could reduplicate all of it as if the crime scene was just happening then and there. So, um, there's been a lot of very cool, creative ways that they've been throwing, like, hey, this character could probably do this, or hey, this character could probably do that, but they never really feel like they show everything. And I think um, there's some characters that suffer the you've already seen it all, and there's some characters that just suffer to not really amount to anything. Like their abilities were cool, and the one person I'm thinking of is Heaven's Door guy, the guy who can create like a manga panel out of you. And like it was cool that he could, write inside of you, you cannot attack me or cause me harm, and then, do as he does. But at the same time, it was like he his stand isn't that fast to be able to just like zoom around the battlefield and push everybody, make them all become that, not to mention he also was in a situation where he was letting people come to his house, so he would, they were usually on guard, but at the same time, they weren't ready for him to just do it at any time and any moment. So, uh, with this guy, I feel like the whole crafting, like sewing people's bodies and all that stuff, and then also being able to stop bullets, it all catered so well to him in the moment. Uh, that with him gone, it feels like there could be someone out there, that uses his power and that was relying on him and stuff like that. But it feels like he was more of a solo type of dude, like they purposely made him. And you see how the deflating balloon guy went ahead and kind of just like left and even just, risked his life to go against some gang members who either A, he doesn't know all their abilities, or B, could kill him if spotting him, and and call him out on like trying to I don't know, it's a really sticky road being a gangster. So I guess like they wouldn't really care if someone was doing that, as long as whoever they are snitching to gets some of it, like that's how it feels like. So with this week's episode of this guy showing us just how far his stand is willing to go, and even the second ability that I'm talking about, usually every stand user has this. There's two standard abilities that they already are pretty spot on about knowing. For instance, we haven't got geos. Like, don't get me wrong, I have not seen, besides maybe like he can punch really good and he can turn stuff like into like he's a combatant stand, and not only does he do combat, he's also got an amazing ability. But I don't think that's his only second power, in my opinion. Um, I don't have any bases on that. It just doesn't feel like the main character's two abilities is to create anything out of whatever he touches, and what, and then fight, and then be able to punch. That doesn't sound like the guy that we know that makes this show. So keep your minds open on Geo. I think we still got something to see with him. But unlike him, Misa, when he shoots his bullet and all of his stands are out already from shooting the bullets, or the ones that actually stay out, that he forces to stay out. We didn't get confirmation if by just shooting them they literally are kind of like stuck out there until he calls them back or something, or are they self-aware that when he shoots them, or even without shooting them, they can pretty much just go on and do whatever they want to pretty much back him up, or help him in the fight. Those are the things that I pretty much noticed with his bullets. But then the best part is, she shoots, the bullets go and fly around and stuff. But not only did they do that, they made sense of the whole him thinking like the unlucky numbers and all that stuff. They throw all of that in there because it's so intelligent to do it. It's such an underwhelmed, like it's underwhelming to think that people don't like getting information in different ways. And that's just one type of information, is when they put forth like, oh, why would you even, he just screams out that, and he's because of the drinks or because of the cake or something, like he cut it in like four pieces or something, like it was the most weirdest thing. And to think that they're gonna pay it off in the future and you forget about it, that's on you, and then you're just kind of like, why is he even talking about this number? And it goes to show what type of fan base he's aiming towards. Everything that's said in here is almost a reference to something, and it almost feels like Geo is going to find himself in a weird situation now that he is, going and looking pretty much for what is he looking for? He was looking for his homie that, just arrived back at the dock, and he's still running out like, he didn't see them pull up and him drag him. So it's like that these things aren't they're not doing this not on purpose. You know what I mean? Like that's the show that you guys have been dived into. If you're new, which I have a hard feeling a lot of new people are watching this, but like, I mean, this is your first ever JoJo series. That's crazy if you started on Goldenwind. And if you are one of those people, please do let me know in the comments down below. That's awesome. But if you really look at it though, the unlucky number truly plays off to being unlucky, and the person getting out scot-free yet again to fight, and actually cause him damage because of the unlucky number he pulls. Then, after getting rid of said unlucky number, the most luckiest thing happens to him, and that's where it comes down to that flashback that we saw of his backstory of him just walking and bullets literally flying by him, not even touching him. That is how lucky this man has pretty much has been when it came down to bullets. I mean, someone probably in the comments down below can correct me about the origin story, if they were trying to push along the fact that maybe bullets just don't mess with him, and that's why his stands became one or something, or maybe his stands were there and we couldn't see them at the time because they chose not to animate them, and they were pushing the bullets out of the way. And at that time, they were only capable of moving bullets in the vicinity, and he had no gun, which makes a lot of sense why he hit every single shot after finally getting a gun. So it's such a beautiful, like it's I mean it's not beautiful to like see death and stuff, but it's such a beautiful way of telling a story where everything just falls in line with what you're talking about. There's no wasted time talking about anything that wasn't needed to be talked about. Besides Geo running off and still chasing someone who is clearly fine. That was a waste of time if if it doesn't have any payoff. But this being JoJo, it's gonna pay off somehow, some way. Um, but yeah, with all that being said, guys, we get to see that ability that all these bullets were on there, and because they were on there and so close to him that no matter how far he sent the bullet flying, is another reason why I think the bullets had to have been moving those other bullets in his flashback out of the way, and he just couldn't see the stand, or they couldn't see the stand, and we were in the perspective of the mob. Um, it goes to show that either he's really lucky or his stands have formed in that situation. That's why his body acted on its own type of deal. But all that being said, his stance changed a different color, kicked the bullet super hard right back into this person's like same wound, so he couldn't heal himself, and that's pretty much GG and drags him back to where we need to be. And I think that's two of them, if I am correct. There's two people that they only needed to take out that we saw anyway. But he said it's a rumor amongst gang members. So if these guys go missing for too long, other members who might have heard of this rumor might show up. But other than that, I will talk to you guys in the next one. Please drop a like, subscribe if you did enjoy, and I will be talking to you in the next one. I think a certain index comes out later today, so if you guys are subscribed, make sure you have that notification bell on, and you'll be notified instantly when I drop my next video. Alright, my anime people, peace!